Hi guys, it's Joe Fix Appliance Repairs. Today we're going to be putting a teardrop bearing in an Indesit tumble dryer. If your machine has started to sound squeaky or just generally a lot louder than it used to be, it's probably a good indication that the bearing has worn through. So today I'll be taking you through step by step how to replace it yourself. Okay, so the first thing we're doing is with a Phillips head screwdriver, take the 2 screws out of the white plastic panel here, and then that will give you access to the bearing. And then, as you can see, the teardrop bearing has completely worn through. There's carbon all along the bottom here, and it's almost cutting into the metal, so nip it in the bud. Right, when you've done that, you can then gain access to the teardrop bearing here. So you have to start off by bending this little wire into a straight line and then pulling it through. Right, once that's off, get your pin nose pliers, straighten out this wire here, try and get something on the back of it. Right, once you've straightened it out, then just grab your pliers again, pull it through, pop it somewhere safe, and then this little cap comes off, and then you can really see how much that's been eaten into the back of the drum casing here. Really has cut into it. So next you're going to need a T20 Torx head screwdriver just to remove this screw here. Once you've got that off like so, the bearing is free. So what I always do is I put a little bit of tension on there just to lift it up slightly with the back of the drum shaft, and then that gives you access to the bearing itself. Everyone does it slightly different. As I say, I put my finger on there just to give it a little bit of release, and then the Torx head screwdriver in the hole, and then that just then lifts out. Right, once you've got your new teardrop, just pop it onto the edge of the drum shaft, and then, as I say, lift it up a slight amount. Hopefully the rest of it should then drop in. There we go. And it just pushes straight in like that, and then pop your screw back in. So that will pull it through as well if it isn't quite out enough. There we go. Right, now it's time to pop this little cap back on with the pin. You just need to spin it around oh so slightly just to line it up so the hole is lined up. And as I say, just push that back through. Once you've got that in place, just line it up in the top there and then bend it back round. It's easy enough. Just again, get your pliers back on it, twist it round, back around the edge of the drum, into position. Right, once that's back on, hopefully it should look a little bit like mine. Doesn't have to be perfect, just enough, just so it's got enough room not to catch on anything in the back here. And then if I was you, I would get a hoover, just run it around the edge to clear out all this carbon as it does stain, and then 2 screws to pop the little cover back on. And last thing is just to give it a quick try, just to make sure it is sounding better, and that is much better. Right, thanks for joining me, and catch me in the next one.